Hey everybody, today on Henry's HowTos I'm going to show you how to make Khamei. Basically, these are Persian style Profiteroles. Let's get straight into it. So just into a small saucepan, you want to start by adding in 1.5 cups of cold water, along with about a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. Now just place that on your stove on a low to medium heat. And all we want to do is melt this. So we'll help to continuously stir it. Now in the meantime, preheat your oven to about 200 degrees Celsius. So once your butter is melted like this, reduce your heat to a low, and we just want to let this simmer for about 2 minutes. And also just add in a pinch of salt. After about 2 minutes, switch your heat off, and you want to add in 1.5 cups of plain flour straight in. And just gently stir this through so we can create a dough. Make sure you scrape the sides also so we get it all combined. Okay, simple as that. That's the hard part done. So what we need to do now is let this dough rest to the side for about 10 to 15 minutes so the temperature cools down. We need to add eggs into it. If we were to do that now while it's hot, the eggs will cook and we'd basically end up with scrambled egg dough, and it won't work. So just set that aside now. So once your dough's had time to cool down and is very easy to touch, what we're going to do is crack 5 eggs in. Now the way to do this is crack in 1 egg at a time, and using a hand mixer or a cake mixer, we just want to blend it in, but do 1 egg at a time and on a low speed. Once it gets combined, crack in the next egg. Okay, so you should be left with a nice dough like that. At this point we can just use a spatula to take off the mix. And make sure you get it all off. Like so. Okay, so now at this point your oven should be preheated enough to continue. So we'll set that to the side for now. Okay, so in terms of baking the pastry, there's 2 ways we can do it. One is to use one of these mini muffin trays that they sell. By using this, it's easier if you're doing it at home, as you can just use a teaspoon to fill each cavity up. If not, you can use a piping bag like I'm going to do, and place them onto a large baking tray like so. So it's up to you, whatever's easy for you. So if you're using a piping bag like me, just get your piping bag and you want to fill the entire piping bag with your dough mixture. Once you have filled your piping bag with the dough, pinch the top like that, and you want to spin it around. This will get all the air out, so we're left with the dough inside. Don't squeeze it too hard. Once you see the dough coming out like that, stop squeezing. Get rid of the excess off the top, just so it's less messy. Now, as you can see on mine, I'm using the star tip, but you can use whichever. And line your baking tray with some baking paper, and all we want to do is make little shapes like that. Now you can do these any size you like. I'm just going to do them smaller as I serve them in a restaurant. And make sure you leave a gap too between them, as they do expand. And you obviously want to try and get all of them the same size. So keep an eye out on that too. So in the end, you should have something that looks like that. So if your oven's ready, go ahead and put it in. Depending on your oven, these should only take about 18 to 20 minutes to bake. Make sure you don't open the door, because if you let the heat out, they might collapse. You gotta think of them as a souffle. So at least 18 minutes before you check. So it's been 20 minutes now, so we'll have a quick check. And as you can see, they all look nice and golden brown. So what we'll do is just leave them in the oven, turn your oven off, and leave the door slightly open. If we take them straight out, they'll go into shock and shrink very quickly. So after about 10 to 15 minutes of leaving them in the oven, just go ahead and take them out. And you would just want to leave them outside at room temperature. Don't go filling them up with anything just yet. If we do that, they'll melt inside and it just won't work properly. So let them rest there. As you can see, they'll look nice and golden brown and puffy now. So I'll show you how to make your own whipped cream next. Now you could just buy whipped cream from the stores, but all you're going to get is a can of chemicals, and you're not going to get that real flavour. So we'll make our own. Start with adding about 2 cups of thickened cream into a stainless steel bowl. Now we're also going to need a 1/4 cup of caster sugar. Now we'll start by beating our cream, preferably with a whisk attachment on a hand mixer. Don't do this by hand because you're just going to snap your arm off. So on a high speed. Now as you can see, after about a minute of whisking, it's starting to froth up and thicken. Now the trick is to add our sugar gradually while we're still mixing on a high speed. And then we're going to continue mixing until soft peaks form, so don't stop. Now once you have soft peaks like that, add in about 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. And just continue to finish it off. So once you have perfect soft peaks like that, and it sticks to the beater, it's ready. Now the other trick is just flip your bowl over. It shouldn't come out if it's ready. Now don't go over mixing it, because if you do, it's gonna split and it's gonna ruin it. Okay, and now we can move on to the fun part. So what we'll need to do is fill our mixture into a piping bag. This will make it much easier. If you don't have access to one, you can just piece a hole in the bottom and just fill it up with a spoon, but it won't be the same. Now if you're using a piping bag, use the smallest star nozzle on the end. So we'll start by placing the nozzle into the piping bag, push it in so it comes out, and just fill up your piping bag with your whipped cream mixture. And you'll just need to try and not eat any while you're doing that, because it is irresistible. And the trick here is very simple. With the nozzle, push a hole into the bottom, and then you want to start piping. As you can see, it's starting to puff up, and that's what we want. Once you see it start oozing out from any cracks like that, it's ready. Don't fill it up anymore, and just set that aside. And just continue with the rest. Now guys, once you fill it up like this, you don't want to leave it for too long. So if you're not going to serve it within a day or 2, don't fill them up yet, because it will eventually make it go soggy. Okay, and that's our final result there, all ready to be served. As for what they look like inside, there we go, nice and creamy. It's simple as that. They're actually not hard to make at all, and you'll get about 2 days out of it max if you store this in the fridge. Try not to go more, because they'll just go soggy and stale. In regards to variations, what I've done in the past is actually dip the bottom of them in chocolate or even the top, and it just makes it look nicer. You can even do chocolate cream inside or even custard. I hope you like that, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you've got any comments or suggestions, just leave them at the bottom, and I'll see you all next time.